Welcome to this edition of Access Together. These shows are made possible through the combined efforts of Shelby County Schools and GHS-TV. The shows are hosted by the members of the community and utilize the staff and facilities of Germantown High School. If you would like to watch our live stream or get more information about these shows, log on to our website, ghstv.org. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the following presentation.
Welcome to Let's Talk Money. My name is Kelly Bolton. Thank you for tuning in with us today. In business, it's essential not only to manage a quality product, but a company must successfully manage its human resources and morale as well. Dedicated employees are the backbone of any successful organization. And with us today, we're honored to have Mr. Tony Maxwell. He's the plant manager at Blue City Brewery, and he's going to share with us how they develop superior products, deliver it to the marketplace, and ensure quality personnel as well. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you on the show, and before we get started, the most important thing is your daughter is a student here?
Yes,
So do you want to give her a shout out?
Yeah, shout out to Iffy.
All right, there we go.
Used the correct nickname that time.
Well, it's important. We got to shout out.
Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, thank you for asking. I'm originally from Memphis.
Okay.
Graduate of Mitchell High School in 1982, representing that class. Went to college at Tennessee State University.
Okay.
Worked for, I'll say my bottling career started with Coca-Cola right here in West Memphis, Arkansas, back in 1994. I actually worked with Coke for 21 years. Over that time frame, I worked in 4 different plants in 4 different states.
Oh, wow. So you've moved, and then you ended up back at home.
I moved around a bit.
Great. That's great.
I actually spent the last 14 years on the East Coast, Virginia, Maryland, D.C. area. A
little colder there.
It's a lot cooler there.
Yeah.
So I actually had the opportunity to get back to the greater Memphis area, so actually fortunate to be back at this time.
That's great. So when did you come back?
I came back in March of this year.
Oh, really? And, so you're brand new back to Memphis.
Yeah.
It's changed a lot.
It's changed a lot.
It has.
Yeah. My wife, she's new to the area, but she already knows the area better than me. So she.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I know that Blue City Brewery is owned by City Brewing Company. So can you tell us about City Brewing?
Yes. City Brewery actually started in the year 2000. Okay. The home office is in La Crosse, Wisconsin. City Brewery is a leading manufacturer of beverages in the United States, and actually has customers domestically and internationally.
Really?
We produce beers, flavored malt beverages, teas, and energy drinks.
Well, those energy drinks have become very popular,
yes,
that's for sure.
Yes.
Well, tell me about the Memphis facility. I mean, what are y'all producing here at your plant here?
Well, the Memphis facility was actually purchased by City Brewery in 2011. For most people who know that facility, it's the old Coors plant.
I know exactly.
Yeah, the City Brewery actually attempted to purchase this facility back in 2006 from Coors. The negotiations actually fell through, and so City Brewery actually ended up moving their interest elsewhere. The Coors ended up shutting down the plant here in Memphis. The plant was purchased by Carolyn Hardy, Hardy Bottling.
I know Carolyn, great lady.
Absolutely.
She's done a lot for this city.
Absolutely. So that was Hardy Bottling, started at that point in time. In the meantime, City Brewery actually purchased another facility in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Okay. So that's their second plant. In 2011, they had another opportunity to purchase this facility, and they actually purchased it from Hardy Bottling.
Really?
Mm-hmm. At that particular facility, we have 4 can lines in that plant. We have 1 glass bottle line. We have a keg line, and we have what we call a variety pack line. Mm-hmm. So it's actually the highest volume variety pack line in the country. It has the capability of packaging up to 6 different SKUs in multiple different packages, rainbow packages, a lot of family packs, so different flavors in one pack. And in that particular facility, we have a huge diversity of packaging. We produce anything from an 8-ounce sleek can up to a 50-liter keg.
All
and pretty
in that
much
one
anything,
facility.
And pretty much anything
we've come
between.
a long way with equipment and that sort of thing. I'm sure it's made it much easier. I bet you think back to the days when you first started, back bottling with Coca-Cola to what you're doing now and the volume. I bet it's just completely different.
Yeah, the capability of this facility is actually one of the things that that was most interesting to me when I made a decision to come back here, because the facility actually functions at less than 50% of its capacity. So where we've grown a lot since the plant started in 2011, there was only 33 employees in that facility when it started up.
Wow.
Today we got over 370.
Here in Memphis?
Right here in Memphis, yes.
So when y'all, not to interrupt you, but did you use some of the people that Hardy Bottling had, or did you bring in your own? Okay.
Yeah, it was mostly people that was already in place at Hardy Bottling. A lot of those individuals were people who originally worked for the Coors facility. There were some people who actually came down from the Pennsylvania and the Wisconsin plants also to help get this plant started.
Oh, that's nice. Is that why you were brought in for this plant?
Well, the plant has been here since 2011, so it's several years later. I'll say the capacity, I say addressing the capacity constraints, addressing some of the throughput issues that we've had at this facility is one of the reasons why the opportunity was made available to me. We can just about double our volume in this facility, which means we can go from 370 odd associates to Coors hasn't had as many as 500 associates in the facility, so we can do a lot more for the city. Wow.
Well, and that'd be great as far as hiring. You could employ more people, more production. So what is your typical day look like? I mean, you get to work, and then what do? You hang out and drink beverages all day? Probably not.
Yeah, no, not all day. We do have TOA, taste, odor, and appearance. So we do have. It's required.
Yeah, well, that's good.
One of the worst parts of the job.
I love it.
Not really. I got acclimated to the taste panel. I think my second day on the job. I find something else to do every morning around that time now. But you know, I say I have a pretty non-typical day. You know, it's always something new. It's always something fresh. You know, the day starts early. I say dark and early. We have a 3-shift operation, so I make a point to make myself available to team members on all shifts.
That would be 24 hours a day.
I don't work 24 hours a day, but I make myself available, so I do come in on off shifts. So, you know, I want to make sure everybody knows that they have support.
Well, that makes you a good leader. I mean, you know, as an employee for a company myself, you know, it's nice and important to know that the people that you work for are there ready and willing and available to you, and I'm sure that your employees they probably don't bother you much in the middle of the night, but at least it's nice to know that you're there.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point that they don't ask me why I'm there anymore.
Yeah.
And that's always my goal. When I know that question stops, I know I'm doing what I need to do to support them.
Yeah, that's great. So you wouldn't say that you start out your day with every day you do X at certain times. I'm sure you have certain checklists of things you have to go through and knock off.
I follow through on any type of throughput issues that we may have had from the previous day. Always look for quality, any type of safety concerns from the previous day's activity. We look for any type of bottlenecks we may have had that we may need to address, you know, during the day.
No pun intended, right?
Bottlenecks, okay, yeah. And I ensure that purchasing is aligned. Again, making myself available to the team members. We have daily meetings, actually with our corporate office. Every morning we do a 15-minute conference call. It's very short, very brief, and I'll say the remainder of my day is just mostly around you know, future planning.
Right.
Working on what the plan is for you know, as we go forward.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it looks like we're going to take a short break, so don't go away. We're going to continue our discussion with Mr. Tony Maxwell, plant manager of Blue City Brewery.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Smokey. Only you can prevent wildfires.
You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Money. If you're just tuning in, I'm Kelly Bolton, and today we've been talking with Mr. Tony Maxwell. He's plant manager of Blue City Brewery, as we discuss core practices successful to any organization. So we thank you for joining us. We were just talking about your day-to-day, what it kind of looks like. And, you know, I know you obviously probably have a significant part in hiring and firing of employees.
Yes.
And the motivation of your employees, because I'm sure sometimes they're not as motivated as they are at others. So what qualities do you look for in employees, and then how do you motivate them to come to work and every day be the best that they can be?
That's a very good question, and it's a daily challenge to that. We have roles within the facility for degreed and non-degreed positions. With the degree positions, quality lab, we have an analytical lab, we have a chemist on site.
Oh, really?
Again, we actually manufacture we're the liquids within the facility. So we have a functioning lab within the facility. Individuals that we look for in those roles, we look for chemistry type of degrees. For some of the non-degree positions, we're looking for work experience. We're looking for tenured within their work experience, and we look for something that we call motivational fit, and it really just determining whether someone will fit into the mantra of the organization, and will actually show that motivation that we want to see, and will gel and collaborate with team members. All of that is extremely important. We sometimes call it hungry. You want those people who have strong desire to excel, to be a part of a team, and sometimes that carries a more weight than people who may have the experience but not the desire.
You know, there's a saying my daughter told me, and I may get this slightly wrong, but hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Yeah. And that's just what you said. It may not be the person with the most skills, but if they're willing to work hard, they can compensate for it. So
it's something that I noticed actually when I first interviewed down here, and just when I did my on-site interview and walking around and talking to people. I really got a feel for the spirit of the individuals that work there. A lot of pride with the people that work there. I think a lot of people who actually feel good about having the opportunity to work with Blue City Brewery, and that motivated me as my family and I made the decision about making this move here.
Well, that's great. Well, I know you have an enormous facility, and it's got to be somewhat challenging to make sure that it runs efficiently all the time. So, first of all, how big is it?
The building is 1.3 million square feet.
I can't even get my head around that.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen it, but to go in it and figure 1.3 million square feet, that's big.
We've got a basement in that facility that runs almost the length of the facility, and it took me 6 months to get through the basement.
Golly.
It is a huge facility, and there was many days for that 6 months that I just made a point to get lost.
Yes.
There were days I would just make a point when I got to the point where I could. I said, I'm gonna get lost. I'm gonna go someplace today that I never have. And it took me 6 months to really cover that entire facility. It is huge.
Wow, that's amazing.
So keeping it functional, it takes a lot of talented people. It takes a lot of talented, motivated individuals, all pulling for that same goal, which is to get quality product safely out the back door. It's a tremendous challenge. I'll say one of the bigger challenges for us is really finding quality technically experienced people. That's one of our biggest challenges.
Well, I can imagine. Well, and I know you probably, you have a lot of experience, obviously, being at a plant. What would you say is kind of the difference in the way you're seeing plants run today and what you saw back when you were with Coca-Cola all those years ago?
So I worked with Coke for 21 years, and I'll say the. Yeah, and I'll say Coke was very good to my family for that time frame.
But as far as the 20 years ago, the way a bottling plant worked versus the way a bottling plant works now, are we much more automated?
In some places we are, in some places we're not.
Really? See,
yeah,
I would have thought
yeah.
20 years would have just changed everything with
No.
automation.
No,
Really?
we have some equipment. That plant was built in 1971, the old Coors facility. It was Schlitz was the one who originally built that plant. We still have some equipment in there today that is still functional.
Really?
That is 1970s models.
Interesting. Well, that says a lot for technology back then, that it's been able to, stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Well, over the years, what would you say is kind of the worst mishap, I guess, if you will, that you've ever had in a plant?
Well, I'll tell you, next to a fatality, the worst thing that I've seen happen in the plant is when you damage the trademark of the company. And I'm blessed not to have ever been in a facility with a fatality.
That's
but I have been in facilities where we had quality issues that you end up with a market recall. It's one of the worst things you can do because consumers, it's public information, and people may stop using your product if they see that. And I've seen some very dramatic market recalls before.
Yeah.
Not necessarily caused by the plant, but caused by suppliers.
Right. And and people don't quite understand that. Ultimately, you were the one that labeled it, and so whatever the product is, they're the ones that take the kind of the heat for it. Well, I know you said you graduated from Tennessee State University. What role did really your college experience play in your ability to be successful today? Because we're filming at a high school. We'd like all these kids to go on and get some further education so that they can aspire to be more. And there's a lot of our viewers that are watching thinking, I'd like to have a career change. So I'm kind of trying to get an idea of how the college experience helped you get where you are today.
It helped out tremendously. I actually started my manufacturing career without a college degree. I started college directly out of high school, but like a lot of people, life happened, and I ended up pushing college off while I took care of life things. I'm thankful to have a family that pushed me to get my degree, and I went back and I got my degree. I actually started off my schooling with Tennessee State as a architectural engineer. Ended up getting my degree in business management. My daughter Iffy has asked me before, did I ever feel bad about not getting, to be an engineer? And I told her, I said, early in my career I probably did, but for the most part, I've had a lot of engineers work with me now, so I don't feel bad about that anymore. The thing that I would encourage for any young person is to get their degree and to get as much continuing education as you possibly can. The other thing that I would encourage young people to do is, don't discount the technical trades.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we return, we'll finish our great conversation with Mr. Tony Maxwell with Blues City Brewery on the traits of successful business management.
It's a program that feeds off of excellence. We have chamber choir, which is an elite ensemble composed of 16 to 18 singers. Then chorale, it's a large ensemble of roughly 50 singers. We have a women's chorus. When they come in here, they have the chance to sing. And when we sing, it releases endorphins and it makes us happy. So to give students an environment where they can be happy, where they can move on from things that are going on in their life. That's a challenging thing to do.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Money. Today we're honored to have Mr. Tony Maxwell. He's plant manager of Blue City Brewery. And with just a little time left, we're going to jump back in and finish our discussion. So we were just talking, and I had to pause for just a quick break, but we were talking about the importance of getting a skill after high school. Yes. And you were saying how your college experience and your college degree has really helped you. Yes. And I know that as with anything, sometimes you need additional training, but sometimes technical training can be very good. So tell us a little bit about what you were going to say about that.
Yes. Again, as we have degree and non-degree positions that we fill within the facility. We struggle to find qualified candidates sometimes with technical backgrounds, whether it's on the quality side or on the maintenance technician side of the business. One thing that I'm really proud about being a part of Blue City Brewery is that we're a company that pays competitive wages to our associates.
Very good.
We pay a living wage to individuals, and it warms my heart when I see people get their first paycheck, and I've seen it more than a few times, and and they're just like, wow, I've never seen this much money before, and and people are proud of that fact that that we're that they can take care of their families by working with Blue City Brewery. We're not a company that exploits the contract labor realm. We really look to hire full-time, long-term associates to be a part of the Blue City family. The technical experience or the technical roles that we have within the facilities, we pay very good. We pay very good for those roles, and a lot of people do very well with their families over a long term with those type of backgrounds and experience. And I say all too often I see that skill set is not focused on a lot of times, but it is a huge need on the manufacturing side.
College is not for everyone, and getting a skill and technical trade. And I don't know, I know Carolyn that you mentioned that had Hardy Bottling, that y'all were, that was there before you. I know she was real involved with Southwest Tennessee Community College and working with them as they teach technical trades for different employers in the area that are needing to hire. And we actually had as a guest on our show Carolyn, and we've had Southwest Tennessee Community College. And you mentioned that this year, in the not too distant past, you've hired 50 people?
Yes, we're growing. And at a time of year where a lot of manufacturing is slowing down, we've actually we've added on an additional production line over the last 2 months.
Wow.
Where we had 3 production lines running every day. 2 months ago, now we have 4 lines running. So we've done a lot of hiring. We've actually started in an apprentice program, a maintenance apprentice program within the facility.
Really? That's good.
We promoted all those individuals from within. So where we've had difficulty hiring technically skilled technicians externally, we're going to do what we can to build them internally. And actually, Tennessee College of Applied Technology, TCAT, is actually helping us with that.
Okay.
So these individuals actually will be working a portion of their work week, and they'll be in school a portion of their work week. And within 2 years, we expect to have them with certified maintenance technicians.
Oh, that's great. And they come out with a job.
Yes, they'll have a job the entire time, training and working within City Brewery.
That's fabulous.
Yes.
Well, would you say, I guess, with the expansion that you're seeing with the facility, that if somebody is watching the show and interested in a job, that it would be worth looking at you for a job? And how would they go about doing that? Would they go to a website? Would they call?
Yes, go to our website. It's www.citybrewery.com. You'll actually see all of the positions that are currently open within all 3 of our facilities.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. We're always looking for that. So
that's great.
Yeah, thank you for giving me that opportunity.
And is it okay? Do you hire in high school, or do you have to be a certain 18 or older, or is there an age minimum?
Yeah, we look at we're not doing a lot of hiring of high schoolers at this point in time, but we do hire 18 and up at this point in time.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And then if you were giving advice, I don't think we've got a ton of time left, but if you were giving advice to a student, and then we talked about getting education, but when they're interviewing for a job, what would you say you're looking for, and not just for your facility, what would you say employers are looking for as far as background and experiences and motivation? How would kind of advice and tips?
Yeah, I'd say, I've worked with 2 Fortune 500 companies and now fortunate to work with City Brewery. I'll say in all those scenarios, is the businesses are pretty much looking for the same. They're looking for talented, interested candidates that have the background experience for whatever roles that they're looking for. And they're really looking for people who want to make a career with the company, not somebody who's just who has a history of jumping around. A lot of times people don't get those interviews. So you really, if you as you choose the opportunities that people choose to work for, you be as selective as you can, but you really go into those with an idea that somewhere down in the future someone else may look at your work history, and it may matter if you've had a spotty work history. So those are the type of things that I say we look at, and really looking for that motivational fit. I've said it once, but it really means a lot.
You're looking for people that have had a proven history of motivation, dedication, and commitment, I guess, to something. Well, when I was thinking about to young people when they're looking for jobs, and then actually older people that are looking for jobs. A lot of times they fear because they may not have the experience that maybe they shouldn't apply for a position. But I think that they should, because you never know. And then we're talking on the show, Let's Talk Money, benefits. That's really important. Right. And a lot of people I know, when I'm talking to them, they will say, well, this job is paying more than this job. But when we assess benefits, if you add the benefit package into the salary, it's huge. Yes. And we only got, maybe 30 seconds or so left. Would you like to comment on that before we close our show?
That's a very proud point that I can close on right there, because when so many companies are actually paying less on insurance rates, and insurance rates are escalating daily and people paying more and more out of their pockets, well, City Brewery is paying more of the premium for the associates. Okay. So we've actually gone from 75% pay to 80%, where we're paying of the premium for the associates to help them with that burden of health care.
Well, that's very generous.
Yes.
Well, this has been a great show, and I know it's fun for your daughter to get to watch the film. So we're going to thank our guest, Mr. Tony Maxwell with Blue City Brewery, for being with us today. For more information on our show, you can check out our website at GHS-TV.org, where we're streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. We hope you will join us again next month on Let's Talk Money. So now